Hey, what happened?
History.
I feel like Jesus would be able to give me a lot of answers. Welcome back to Nonsense and Nothingness,
Hello.
everybody.
Hello, you beautiful people out there.
How's everybody doing? I'm doing well. You doing well, Seth?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm great. I want to just hop straight into just all the action. Whiskey of the week.
That was satisfying.
It was really
Do it
gentle.
again.
Let's try again. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
that's
think
good.
I
Yeah.
think it picked up on that.
So what do we have here, Connor?
This is called Dusse.
Deuce.
Deuce.
Do you say?
Do you say?
Dusse.
It's a cognac. Is
Yeah.
that? I think that's technically a whiskey, right?
Yeah, of course it is. Brandy, right?
Yeah, we kind of threw this one together.
This is the last minute, but it's, first off, it looks beautiful.
It's very viscous, super syrupy. Did you notice that?
Oh, that could just be because it's cold.
True.
This is straight out of the freezer.
Straight out the freezer. Yeah.
It's not a really punchy smell.
It smells really good, y'all. Kind of expensive. It's on the $50 side, roughly. Up
Yeah,
there
it
with
is.
up there with
It's-
Four
It's
Roses.
expensive.
But yeah, cheers to it. Did you already drink it?
No, I just
Okay,
smelled
cool.
it viciously. Wow,
Big fan. I'm buying a bottle of that.
that's pretty good.
Big fan. Buying a bottle of that.
Wow, it's so sweet on the front end. It
Holy
tastes amazing.
goodness, y'all. We found it.
It's so sweet, but it has like a very satisfying burn afterwards, like reminding you
Man.
you're drinking alcohol. Like the
Man.
beginning's super. You can't taste anything for about the first 3 seconds, and then it just kind of singes the back of your mouth a little bit, but in the good way.
Little back mouth
In the way
singe.
that like sriracha would singe your mouth.
It's
Ah,
good,
It is really
y'all.
good. It's very good.
I'm having a good time. All right, cool. I'm down.
What would you rate it out of 10?
That's a 9 right there.
That's a 9. Yeah.
That's a 9 right there.
So do you think it's better than Four Roses?
See, to me, the one that we would be asking that question about would be TX, because that's our highest rated one so far. Right?
Really? You would compare it all the way up there? Okay.
I don't know. I mean, what are you thinking?
I still like the TX better.
You think so?
I think it has a more developed flavor palette than this, but this feels very refined. And if you were sipping this with a cigar in your smoking room with a massive library
Yeah.
and hookers, you'd be right at home.
And hookers.
I'll give it a 9.
I want to drink TX again. You know,
Just to bring it back. Like
just
the
to bring it
greatest
back.
hits.
Yeah, I want to just have an episode where we have like 3 to 5 bottles here, and we
Mhm.
just kind of go through it.
As I remember TX, I just remember like biting into a warm vanilla cookie of whiskey. That's how I
Well, see,
remember
this
it.
is my thing. We're coming up on episode 10,
Right.
which is not a big milestone,
No.
but it's a milestone. You know, Deca.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when we get to 1,000, Killa.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, you got to get to 100 first, but
And then
Centa.
Senti.
Centi, yeah. But
That would be great.
so I'm thinking for episode 10, you know, we sit here for like 2 hours.
We'll just get absolutely drunk.
And we just go down the line of several of our favorite whiskeys, and we just talk and drink whiskey. Maybe have some cigar. Well, we'll be inside. We can't smoke, but
No, we can have an outdoor podcast. We'll listen to nature.
oh, you think we could? I feel
No,
like that
no,
would be
no,
an
no
audio
chance.
disaster.
That would be. It would be so hard to take out all the bird chirping and buzzing. And
Yeah,
There's a lot of noises in the
in the
in
wild,
outside.
in the
It's
outside.
very noisy.
Yeah, that's really good. Would recommend Dusse, everybody.
Dusse.
Dusse, it's really good.
I mean, it's in a really simple, kind of like half teardrop design. It's got one label with everything you need on it. It has what it is. It's 375 milliliters, which is.
it has what it is.
I mean, it just says
Quote of a lifetime right there.
It says cognac, 16,100 cognac France. I don't know if that's an address.
I think
or-
it's French.
You're correct because it says France. on it.
Yep, I'm an intuitive
Chateau
kind of
de
guy.
Cognac, the House of Cognac, and yeah, I mean it's a really simple design, really nice brandy, I guess, cognac.
Yeah.
So,
So
anyway.
before we got in here, we were talking about coffee,
Yes,
and that you're not drinking it anymore.
I'm going. I'm
And I'm
trying to
kind
go
of judging you
caffeine-free.
for it a little bit.
Well, I'm judging you, you caffeine addict.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I freaking love coffee.
Yeah.
I'm
Quit drinking the
addicted.
Kool-Aid.
I'm addicted, and I'm proud. I'm proud
I don't
to
know,
be
Connor.
addicted to caffeine
I want
because I love it.
I want to be like completely. Have you ever thought about when the last time you were 100% completely sober?
I mean,
Yes.
Does caffeine not?
By
Does
sober,
caffeine?
I mean absolutely nothing affecting
I
your
didn't know
mental
that was a
faculty. Because like caffeine does, right? It makes you more alert, kind of jittery.
It's been since I was like 8 years old. I started drinking coffee when I was a child. Which is really weird. I realized
8
that.
years old is pretty early.
Which I realized that. But I think it was one of those things where my mom drank coffee and my older brother started drinking coffee, and he has 3 years on me, and he started drinking coffee whenever he was like 12, I think. And so,
which is still super young.
Very young. And whenever just to set the record straight here, whenever I say coffee, it was like 50% half and half and 25% sugar and 25% coffee. So
yeah, like
you know,
a normal Starbucks drink.
Yeah, we're dipping our toe into the coffee world, but that's whenever I started. But I apparently, according to Seth's definitions, I haven't been sober
for years.
in 13 years. Which is, I don't necessarily agree with, but since caffeine is a stimulant.
Yeah.
Sure.
It is. Like, but have you ever just sat down and thought, like, I wonder what it would be like to go a day with just, like, ingesting nothing?
I have done that exact thing, and it's terrible.
Okay, well...
I get caffeine headaches.
Right.
I'm pissed at everyone.
You're suffering from withdrawals.
The sunlight hurts.
I don't want my body to be controlled by withdrawals, Connor.
It's not controlled by withdrawals. Well, see, like, I can quit anytime I want.
Yeah, okay. That one. I love that argument.
I can quit anytime I want.
I
don't need
the caffeine.
No, but this is my thing. There are very few. Let me paint a picture for you.
Okay.
All right. Everyone at home. Here, I'll whisper a little bit. Everybody at home. I'm not going to do that. Close your eyes. Just think for a second. You just woke up. And you are a little groggy. Oh, what is that? Oh, do you smell that? Oh, that is a fresh coffee bean.
Just a single bean.
Just this one single bean, and it's leading you to the coffee pot where there's just a fresh piping.
A trail of beans.
And just a trail of brown beans.
You just hear it crunch.
It could be poop, but it's probably brown beans.
You're just stepping on them. Crunch.
And they lead you to the coffee pot where there's a piping hot bowl of brown water, because that's basically what it is, but it's so good. Just brown bean water.
And there are two granola people with guitars singing the Folger song.
Yeah.
And it's...
Folger.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, though, mornings are made better by coffee. You pour that cup of coffee, the steam's coming off.
Is it really? Or are you just getting over your caffeine withdrawals in the morning?
No, it's so good.
I'm just saying.
No, coffee is so good.
Okay. You can stop whenever you want, Connor, I'm sure.
What?
This is me caffeine shaming you, by the way.
Yeah, I know, and I feel it, but I'm not ashamed.
Okay.
I'm proud.
Well, I mean, by our modern definitions of, like, altering drugs, caffeine's definitely not one of them. And I'm not trying to sit here saying that caffeine's gonna affect you and, like, change who you are, but no, it's
I can stop anytime I want.
It's not heroin, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, caffeine is for sure, even though the word drug sounds very, scary, it is a type of drug. And
it's affecting your brain chemistry.
It's socially accepted, etc. It's very mild and in many cases is healthy for you.
It's socially accepted cognitive enhancement.
Correct, but so is Adderall.
You need a prescription for that.
Yeah, but at the same time,
And also, I don't think you're taking Adderall at 8.
I'm not. You're correct. I don't have a prescription for Adderall. But if I did.
But you see I don't know. I think it'd be interesting just to go one day with, like, if I could go into the mountains for like a week over the summer and just kind of just leave all the technology behind and go a week without like really anything, without seeing screens or.
I would love that.
That'd be cool. That'd be really cool. So that's just my thing. I'm kind of done with exams at this point, so I just kind of wanted to take a break from all the stimulants and just chill.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, I love a good stimulant. And by that I mean coffee. I'm not super into cocaine or anything like that.
It's a gateway.
It's caffeine, the gateway to cocaine.
You see kids snorting it all the time
yeah,
now.
Yeah.
They just evaporate the coffee. Okay.
Coffee's delicious, but
it is very good, and I enjoy coffee a lot.
But I drink it black personally.
Oh, I do too.
That's the move.
I only drink black coffee. I only get Americanos.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
Just wanted to throw that out there.
No, only gets Americanos. So when are you going to go back to coffee? Are you going to go back to coffee? Do you think that you're better than me now?
Currently, yes. But when I get back on caffeine...
Get off your high horse, you monster.
No, I don't know. I just wanted
You've turned your back on something that has supported you for so long. On all those... Really? That's what it is.
No.
That's what it is. Coffee has shown you nothing but love.
It's been a massive wallet hole in my pocket for literally a decade.
I mean, what kind of coffee are you buying?
Well, I mean, K-Cups are pretty expensive.
Oh, okay. That's why you get yourself a French press.
Or don't you have an espresso?
I do have an espresso machine. You didn't have to out me on the podcast, man.
Yeah, aren't you an espresso guy? I heard you were an espresso guy.
Okay, listen. I got an espresso machine as a gift.
As a gift.
I didn't ask for it.
I'm sure you didn't.
I didn't. But I did get it as a gift, as a graduation gift. Do I use it? Yes. Often?
Guilty as charged.
Not. Actually, I haven't used it in a long time, and the reason is because Nespresso coffee is really nice.
It is nice.
It's nice coffee. Really it's really good coffee. And if I'm going to drink that, I want to really enjoy it, right? Mm-hmm. And in the mornings, I don't have time to really enjoy it because I'm not a morning person. And so in the mornings, I just need a cup of black coffee to get me through it, you know?
I agree. I think during the school year, I drink coffee all the time, and I think coffee is amazing, and I enjoy it, and I think it's something that is really interesting that you could get into, like as a guy, It's like one of those cool things. It's like, yeah, man, I grind my own coffee. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I could definitely see myself doing that later on.
But yeah, you remembered something that I forgot.
Yes.
We have another email.
Do we have Oh, yeah, we have another, email. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, this one. Okay.
We have another email.
We have another
from a Sir Gavin Thunderberg. Hell of a last name, sir.
That is a great.
Are you a Viking?
Thunderberg. That's so close to Thunderberg,
We could play that game.
We could play that game. Anyways, so Gavin Thunderberg says in the subject line, "You're a little bitch."
Well, I would be careful there because it says Lil specifically, Lil, and I feel like the meaning there between little and Lil's totally different,
It also says instead of your, avoiding the apostrophe problem altogether. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Just don't worry about grammar. Just put a different word in. So it says a little bitch.
A little bitch.
And Gavin asks, if you could pick any historical figure to have dinner with, who would it be and why?
Ooh.
What do you mean? The definition of a historical figure has to be like number one. What are we talking here?
I would use it as loosely as possible.
So someone who's dead and prominent.
I mean, I would feel like probably someone who's dead. And
I mean, do you know any living historical?
I mean, figure? I would say Obama is going to be a historical figure.
Yeah, but he's going to die first.
So you think in order to be I mean, I kind of agree with you.
I think you need to be Not in a history book, but like at least in the next edition of a history book.
Okay. I'm sure Obama's in a history book somewhere.
Yeah, he probably is.
But all that being said,
You know, but you
sure,
know what I'm
we'll
saying.
limit them to being dead. They've got to be
Yes,
dead.
they gotta be dead.
You first.
Easy. Steve Jobs.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. I've thought about this before.
I kind of wish Elon Musk was dead so I could say him. But I'm glad that he's not because he's furthering humanity.
Yes,
Good
he
job.
is.
Good job, Elon.
I would love to have Steve Jobs alive because I think his insight would be really interesting in the tech world. And I'd like to see what he thinks about where iPhones have gone.
He's probably pissed.
He's probably like, dude.
If there's an
you just made it
afterlife and he's looking down, he's probably pissed.
Yeah, he's probably over there with his iPhone like 4, like, this is the same, just smaller.
Yeah, I do genuinely wonder what it would look like if he was still, like what Apple would look like if he was.
We'd be doing some crazy shit.
We'd be flying.
We'd have wearables like all around our body. I feel like we'd have glasses. We'd have like hover shoes. We'd just have a bunch of cool shit.
Yeah, Steve Jobs is a good one. I like that.
But you could also go super old, like general kind of guy, Napoleon,
Abraham Lincoln.
Lincoln. I feel like it'd be really hard to relate to Lincoln.
Yeah.
I just hearing stories about him. I mean, how he like walks 7 miles to school every day and worked at a
what a martyr, am I right?
and he was working
what
at
a
that shop and,
killjoy.
like, walked 15 miles to give somebody back their change. Like,
Blood.
yes.
You want me to feel sorry for you?
I feel like Lincoln would be.
No, I feel like I'd be
stick in
like,
the mud.
"What's up?" And I feel like it'd be really hard to carry a conversation with Lincoln.
I feel like he'd also be super literal.
I would feel
He'd be
inadequate.
like, what's up? He'd be like, "The sky, young man."
Yeah. I feel like it'd be really hard to carry a conversation with him. I could be wrong about that. I think JFK would be a really interesting president to talk to.
Oh, JFK.
Yeah.
I get the feeling he's a bro.
He's a ladies' man. You know he was a frat lord. Even if he wasn't, he was a frat lord.
Yes, he was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's definitely
As far as who I would want to talk
a
to,
good-looking guy. Anyone in history.
I feel like Jesus would be able to give me a lot of answers.
Just talk to Jesus. It'd be hard to talk to him because he wouldn't speak English.
Well, caveat, we were able to understand each other.
Okay. Then, yeah, Jesus would be interesting.
That would be great. That would answer a lot of questions for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think I would, at the very least, I'd be able to write a hell of a book and I'd be set the rest of my life. That one time I had tea with Jesus. Yeah, I think that could be pretty good.
Yeah, driving the Messiah.
I think that would be great to go on to have dinner with Jesus. I think would be good.
Tea time with the King of the Jews.
Yeah, or like Caesar.
Really? Okay, like a tyrant kind of guy?
Yeah. I've always been interested by like the Hitlers and the Joseph Stalins and people like that because
people who just captured a nation.
Well, yeah, because they brutally murdered people and they were obviously terrible in many, many ways, but they were very effective in others. And so it's like, I would want to have dinner with that person simply so that I would love to have dinner with all of them to see if there were characteristics in them that were common throughout so that I could spot those people in my life, you know? Be like, oh,
see what characteristics can lead to that kind of thing?
I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, like, how can one person be motivated like that to just basically take over a country and then have that lust for power? Like, I don't understand that. I mean, Hitler, like, painted floral scenes.
Yeah.
And then I guess he got upset that he wasn't accepted into the fine art world and then decided
it was
he was
like time to kill all the
take
Jews.
over a country.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I would be really interested in doing that. Maybe like a Napoleon, you know?
He'd be a little asshole, you know.
He probably would, but it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah.
You know?
I bet he would, like, stand on his seat. You know?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, he would refuse to like get off his horse.
Probably. It's just it's a hard question, Gavin, because there are so many people.
Yeah, there are quite a few historical. Amelia Earhart. Where'd you go?
Yeah. Hey, what happened?
Yeah, are you planning on going to the Bahamas anytime soon? Like just chilling on an island?
Just chilling out there.
I mean, there are a lot of famous people you could go back and ask. I mean, historical figures.
Ronald Reagan.
Reagan?
That would be fun.
Yeah, I could see that.
I feel like we could just go play some golf. Just cut up.
Reagan would be super chill.
I think that would be
like
a good
that
time.
Fun uncle.
Yeah.
Who's super rich.
I think that would be a lot of fun.
A rich, fun uncle.
I'd be
actor.
down. I'd be like, Reagan, it's not morning in America anymore.
Yeah.
We're in trouble. What do I do? What do I do? But yeah, I hope that answers your question, Mr. Funderburg.
Mr. Gavin Funderburg.
Thanks for sending it in. If you have a question for us, send us an email.
Yeah,
at nonsense, capital N, nothingness, at gmail.com. We'd be happy to answer it. We'll spend a lot of time on it as we have the past 2 questions. So yeah, if you've got one, send it our way.
Send it our way. And yeah, I'm gonna...
What you looking up here?
Checking... I believe we got another email, but...
We did. The subject line, though, was... there was no email there. It just said, "You're a little bitch." That was from a friend of mine.
Well, they could have at least asked a question like Gavin did.
Yeah, they could have. It would have been nice.
It would have been nice.
It would have been nice.
It's okay.
But it's fine. So, you know.
Well, Gavin, we appreciate your question, and as always, be nothing.
Yeah, Gavin, be nothing. I want to drink more of this.
Go for it.
It's not mine.
Don't worry. There you go.
Wow.
I'm feeling generous.
Wow, what a guy.
Do you want a little bit?
No,
more?
that's great.
Okay.
That's so good. So Seth, you don't watch Game of Thrones, do you?
No, I do not.
But it's back, baby.
And I know you are a Game of Thrones fanatic.
I am
all
a fanatic.
About it day one.
But the reason that I asked this is not to be Game of Thrones specific, because there are so many Game of Thrones podcasts, etc. But the giant battle with the Night King is tonight.
Cool.
I just want to stamp that into time.
Yeah,
that's happening tonight.
It's gonna be tonight.
I'm witnessing it. It's actually happening right now at the time that we're recording this, and I will go and watch it after we record this.
So did you watch it on HBO?
Yes.
After it comes out?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's what's great about HBO Go. It's just there. You just go grab it.
You're on the go?
Yeah, and you're on the go with HBO.
Gratuitous violence and sex.
Yeah, and it's a great time. It's a great time. But the question that I ask you this is HBO has just captured the world, or well, Game of Thrones has captured the world.
Mm-hmm.
Why, do you know why? Like, what makes a good TV show in your mind?
What makes a good TV show? I think Game of Thrones is the recipient of an extreme amount of hype. And it's a recipient of social media outbursts that have propelled it to be a great show.
You need to be very careful.
Look, I know I'm talking to a Game of Thrones guy.
I will leave right now.
Well, tell me what. Then you tell me what's in Game of Thrones that's in no other show.
Well, at least whenever it first started.
Okay.
When Game of Thrones first started, spoiler alert, I'm going to go ahead and say that. If you haven't watched it, shame on you, it's your fault. But spoiler alert. When Game of Thrones first started, everyone's head was on the chopping block. In so many TV shows, the main character is safe. Nothing's going to happen to them. They've got plot armor. They're fine. Mm-hmm. In Game of Thrones, doesn't matter. You're dead. You know? Like, people just died. So what made it good is that you might have a favorite character, but it doesn't matter. Because this is real life, bitch. And anything can happen.
Okay. So the randomness of the show and the fact that there's no main character I guess that's a good question. Who is the main character of Game of Thrones?
Who is the main character? Well, the main character is set up to be, spoilers, Ned Stark.
Yeah.
Watch the show. You see what happens to him.
Uh-huh.
Okay? And whenever that happens, you're just like,
well, now
what? Right. And everyone that I've ever watched it with, whenever what happens, you look at them and they're just jaws dropped and they're just stunned.
Uh-huh.
And I was too. I've never watched a show that you just sit there after an episode and you just can't comprehend what's going on. In the sense of not that it's complex, but you're just like, this is insane.
Okay.
No one would do this, to their show. But Game of Thrones, they're like a honey badger. They don't care.
Mm-hmm.
They'll kill whoever, however they want to. It doesn't matter.
So, I'm confused as an onlooker who's not in the Game of Thrones world. I'm looking at this like, well, I mean, I know Game of Thrones has gratuitous amounts of violence and sex, but that's kind of HBO's thing.
Yep.
They rock it.
Mm-hmm.
Game of Thrones appears to be like a massive mega fantasy story, which has been done before.
It's huge.
Huge. It's I've seen Lord of the Rings. I understand the hype.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen Star Wars. Like I understand how that can be enticing, but I wonder if it's some combination of good storytelling along with the mega universe.
Oh yeah, it's incredible storytelling. And what's great about it is that with a lot of stories, you have a good guy and a bad guy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
In Game of Thrones, there are no good guys and bad guys. There's just characters. I mean, there's villains, and there's people that the audience is automatically going to gravitate to because they are good-spirited, so to speak. But all the people are real. Everybody's made mistakes. Everybody's killed people. Everybody's made bad decisions. Everybody is flawed,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's what entices a lot of people is how raw Game of Thrones is in a lot of ways. But the last show that had this much hype surrounding it that I can remember is Breaking Bad. Did you ever watch Breaking Bad?
I watched it after it came out, but yeah.
Breaking Bad was huge as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so they got something right as well, and I think that Walter White was a flawed character who meant well and wanted to do good, but also was really messed up in a lot of ways.
So he was an anti-hero.
Yeah.
He was, well, I shouldn't say that. It's not an anti-hero like Scarface was an anti-hero. But he's a very flawed main character.
Mm-hmm.
And, I understand that. But I get the feeling that Game of Thrones is kind of like that on steroids, because I feel like I feel like the main character is like I guess, I don't know, the greed of the entire land or something. I think it's called Westeros or something.
Yeah, Westeros.
Just like the greed of the entire land kind of brings these people to do crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I think of Game of Thrones after, seeing like the first episode in various YouTube clips, but that's just me.
So is there anything, I'm just really curious about, because this is my thing.
Mm-hmm.
If I knew that there was so much hype surrounding a show, I would watch that. I would start watching that show. But you haven't started watching it.
And Connor, if everyone else is drinking caffeine...
Okay, Seth, you're not...
I don't know. It seemed to... I don't know. Everybody else was getting into it, but also at that time, I was at kind of a weird age when Game of Thrones started.
Yeah.
I was like 13, 14, 15. And, when you look at the first episode and there's like just a bunch of like, I think there's incest and then they kick a kid off a tower. That's what I remember. And
thanks for the spoiler alert on that.
Whatever.
No, I'm kidding.
That might even be like the first scene. I was just like, oh God, should I be watching this? And ever since then.
So it didn't hook you?
No. Well, the first episode was not very good.
You're wrong.
Okay.
No, everyone's entitled to their opinion, but I would say in order to give Game of Thrones a chance, you need to go 3 episodes deep.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that I say that is that my girlfriend, she knew that I was a Game of Thrones fanatic, and she was like, okay, I'll watch this for you because I know that you're very excited about this. And she didn't really start paying attention and actually mildly enjoying it until 3 episodes in. And then it took her several seasons to actually buy in and becoming a fan.
Mm-hmm.
But she watched it.
I will say there's something prohibitive about it, by the way. The fact that it's on HBO and you can only get it certain ways.
Yeah.
Like, if it were on Netflix, like, yeah, I'd probably watch it. But the fact that you have to go the extra step, I don't know.
Yeah. I know. I do understand that. That is fair.
Or pirate it, and I'm not a big fan of pirating stuff. I feel like I pay for enough subscription services.
Yeah.
That I should be able to find it. But I don't know.
That's fair. I appreciate that. But it's huge, and I hope everybody out there is excited about it as much as I am. Seth is kind of killing my vibe here with
Look,
the
I'm
show.
sorry, man. I know it's like the best show ever. I've heard it is like an absolutely amazing show. I've heard that it's well written.
The production value is insane.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of amazing things about it. So, I'm definitely in the minority here, and I accept that. So you got this. That's all you.
Yeah. Well. Anyway, I'm very excited about it.
Okay. Good. You should be.
And you should be too.
And I'm just, excited about not drinking
Are
coffee.
Are you watching any shows right now?
Ugh. Not really. I've been really busy, and I don't really just go up to my room and chill and watch some Netflix.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get that. I don't really do that either.
Mm-hmm.
I've kind of started doing it a little bit. I don't really like that I started, but I'm watching a lot of Survivor. We've talked about this in the podcast before.
Mm-hmm.
And then Game of Thrones season is here, so I'm down,
There's this problem in the world of streaming right now, in that there's just so much stuff to watch, and there's a lot of great TV shows that I would just like to rewatch, or shows that happened in the past. Like, I'm not super interested in shows coming out like right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say one show that I kind of enjoyed on Netflix was Sabrina.
What is that?
It's like it's about like a witch girl but she's.
I feel like you're into weird TV, Seth.
Maybe I am. I don't know. But it's literally about like Satan and like what witches
you're into
are like.
weird TV.
It's so good though. It's
interesting. What's your short list top 5 TV shows?
Oh man, it's all gonna be super boring stuff.
No, this
I really
is
love The
important.
West Wing.
Okay, West Wing's alright.
It's a political docudrama not really a docudrama.
That's
but a political
so
drama
you.
from the 90s.
I can see that you like
it's
that.
So good.
Yeah.
I love Josh Lyman. I feel connected to him.
Mm-hmm.
After that, let's see. I loved House of Cards until
it got bad.
Yes, until it got really bad. Rip Kevin Spacey.
R.I.P.
He's up there.
Did you see that YouTube video that he released?
Yes.
That was so weird.
He's just a weird dude now.
He's just a weird guy now.
Weird things.
He was awesome, and now I'm just kind of sketched out.
Yes. Yeah, like releasing a public service announcement.
But he was doing it as
in like the
as
Underwood
Frank
voice.
Underwood
That's
on his own YouTube channel. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you need to. If you don't know the down low of it, and these aren't all the details, but he was basically accused of like having sex with a minor, right?
Like a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, like a 14-year-old boy, and he was in his like late 20s.
Yeah.
Or something. I don't know, something like that. And so he was kind of on the outs on the show already, but basically they apparently just killed him off.
Yeah,
and like off screen and let Claire take over. It was really weird. I don't. But he released a YouTube video as Frank Underwood, his character in House of Cards, addressing the audience and being like, "You missed me, and I've never apologized for." It was just so weird. You need to check it out.
That was so weird.
It was honestly
it was good.
It was honestly kind of. I was just watching it and laughing. I kind of enjoyed it, but it felt wrong.
It felt creepy. It felt. I felt kind of violated a little bit, honestly.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Okay.
So, House of Cards is on your list. What else you got?
Oh man. I mean, I guess I can just be a basic bitch and say The Office. But I mean, that's
you
not
are
interesting.
basic, man. So what is that 4 or 3?
That's 3.
Okay.
I mean, There are a lot of shows that I like that I think are interesting, but are not my top favorites. I'd say Black Mirror is kind of one of those transcendent shows.
Black Mirror is great.
It just makes you think, and you're like, what?
Do you have a favorite Black Mirror episode? If you're not on the Black Mirror train, ladies and gentlemen, you got to get on it.
Oh, okay, it's the one where the dude is locked in the room with Don Draper, John Hamm, that character. And the whole scene is John Hamm convincing the guy to tell him the story of like how he killed the daughter.
I think I know what you're talking about. Oh, and they're like in a snow globe. There's something about snow globes.
Yeah.
Really? You liked that one?
He's actually in like mine prison.
Yeah, I remember that.
Craziest shit.
Yeah, no, that was pretty good. My favorite is called Hang the DJ. That's the one where it's the dating community, right? Where they pair you with someone for an unspecified amount of time, and then you figure out how long you're with them. It's like, basically, it takes all the hassle, in air quotes, all the hassle out of dating.
Oh, this relationship's gonna last like 2 hours.
Yeah, where you go to dinner with a complete. You're on this like utopian college campus. Is kind of what it looks like, and you go to dinner with this stranger, and you have this pod thing. And you both can look at your pod, and it tells you how long you'll spend with this person, and it can be anywhere between a couple hours and like a year.
Yeah.
And they set you up and everything in between. And the goal is to find your ultimate partner or final partner or whatever it is. I really liked that episode. I thought that was really good. It's one of the few happy episodes of Black Mirror.
It kind of is. Yeah.
Black Mirror's pretty effed up.
A lot of times,
and kind of sad. Like very few things go well in Black Mirror.
There was one episode of Black Mirror that totally fucked me up, and it was the one with the exercise bikes and the American Idol thing.
Yeah,
that hurt me.
The peddlers,
all the people pedaling, and like
that one
fat
hurt.
People would clean up the trash
with Wraith babes.
Oh my, and yes, and like the pornographic thing that you'd spend all your points on, and
that was bad.
It was so bad.
That one hurt to watch.
And then in the end, when he just does one of the shows, like...
where like he's part of the system, but he hated the system.
Yes. How the system just incorporated his rebellion to increase their control over the population.
Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy.
There's apparently an episode that I've heard of but haven't seen, the one where they elect the teddy bear thing.
Yeah, I didn't like that episode. I thought it was bogus.
There's some episodes where you're just like, what the heck is going on?
No, yeah, what's so weird about Black Mirror is if you're unfamiliar, it is a show where none of the episodes relate to each other. You could hop in on season 3, episode 6, and be just on point, with everybody else.
It starts the story over.
Episode. It's a different story every single episode. And the thing about it is there are some episodes that are awesome. They're awesome. And then there are some episodes that are just absolute duds. And that virtual bear that gets elected as like mayor it's stupid.
It is stupid.
I thought it was dumb.
Yeah, but the point of Black Mirror is to make some kind of overarching statement about society in general and criticize it, basically.
Yeah. It explores what would happen if X thing existed or...
Normally based in like higher technology.
Yeah, normally based in higher technology. The one where that kid, his computer gets hacked.
You talking about the troll episode?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That one's messed up. Dude. And you figure out who's watching kiddie porn.
Yes.
Oh man. Sorry, we're spoiling a lot of Black Mirror episodes here.
But yeah, there's a ton of Black Mirror episodes.
You got to check it out.
It's almost like 25 different shows.
Black Mirror's top for you?
Yeah, I love Black Mirror.
All right, so that's 4. One more. What you got? This matters. Our audience is going to learn a lot about you.
Oh boy.
Our audience of 11 subscribers. We love you guys.
I'm going to throw it at you and you're going to be very disappointed.
Probably.
Grey's Anatomy.
Oh gosh.
It's so good. I'm a pre-med student. I love it. I feel like every pre-med student loves Grey's Anatomy because it's so deep into surgery. But yes, it is amazing.
No, I know people out there who just love Grays.
It's
And that's great that you love Grays.
like I love Grays though. I don't really like Shonda Rhimes. A lot of people like Shonda Rhimes and her. By the way, she was a prolific African American female producer.
Yeah.
One of the very first in Hollywood to start making these shows. So good on her for that. But she's just known for super sappy, super drama filled. Like everyone's attractive, just love making
Yeah.
fests in high stress
Aren't there
situations.
just like bunk beds in a closet somewhere and people just go have sex?
Yeah. And you know what? She made a spin-off of Grey's Anatomy called Station 19. It's the exact same thing except firefighters. And it's so good.
That's stupid.
It's so good.
What's the point of Grays? Like, what's the goal?
The goal, well, first off, it's an extremely clever pun because the main character, Meredith Grey, and Grey's Anatomy is a famous anatomy textbook.
Nice.
And Grey's Anatomy kind of implies there's going to be some...
So what, is she like the hot chick and everybody's interested in her anatomy?
She's the main character.
Okay.
But it follows a bunch of stories of random surgeons all the way through the process. Like right after medical school, you have residency for 5 years as a surgeon, then a fellowship, then you get a job. And it kind of follows, like every season is a year in that process of becoming a doctor. And it just...
How many seasons are there?
Now, I think they're like 13 or 14.
Is it still going?
Yes. There's still episodes that come out, like on live TV.
Why?
Because it's good.
I feel like you can only go through so many iterations of that.
Right. I mean, they've brought in like 3 or 4 sets of new people.
Yeah.
Like, obviously.
How does it keep getting interesting?
Because
It's
it's so drama filled. It's amazing. Like, Connor, there are car crashes, plane crashes, bombs, earthquakes, major natural disasters. Like, there's a couple flu outbreaks that are just awful. Like, it's a ER center. It's a hospital. There's always crazy stuff going on, and it's the perfect contrast to put like the sexual tension of just a bunch of attractive people, also with the extremely high stress situations and motivations of becoming like a successful doctor.
Wow. No, I mean, I've heard great things about it. My brother is really into Grays, or at least he was.
Zach.
Yeah.
The doctor.
The doctor. I'll think about it.
Okay. No, yeah, you don't need to watch it, honestly. Unless you're super involved in like medicine, it's not that interesting.
Okay.
It's just super drama filled.
I see. I'll think about it.
Yeah.
But those are Seth Lenore's top 5. Rattle it off for us real quick. That was what?
West Wing. West Wing, we had Grey's Anatomy, Black Mirror. What else do we have? Oh, Underwood.
You said The
House
Office.
of Cards, and yeah, The Office.
Because you're basic.
I'm basic. All right, go Connor. Netflix top 5 or top 5 shows.
Yeah. So number 1, without a doubt, Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Breaking Bad is incredible as well. Peaky Blinders.
That's a good one.
People sleep on that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Peaky Blinders, it's awesome. Gotta check it out.
I love the style. I love the time period.
Yeah, it's set just after World War One. You're following an old school mobster, gangster guy
like
trying to bring his family up out the mud. It's really good. So, Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Peaky Blinders. I was on the Westworld train for a little while, but it kind of lost me.
I've heard things about Westworld, and I don't know what.
Okay, talk about gratuitous sex. Westworld beats Game of Thrones, hands down. Okay. There's just random boobs in the background for no reason, just hanging out.
Yeah,
for no reason.
Cool.
And you're just like, why is that there?
I've heard it's like the Western Game of Thrones, but is it not?
It's not.
Okay.
It's okay. Like, it's good, but there's so much weird time stuff going on. It's really hard to follow. You know, sometimes you watch TV shows and you watch them to like fill the background while you're doing something. Mm-hmm. If you're going to watch Westworld, you have to commit to Westworld.
Yeah.
You can't do other things and watch Westworld. You have to focus, otherwise you're going to be totally lost. So, eh, you know.
Okay.
Um,
So you had Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad, Peaky Blinders.
Black Mirror is up there for me as well.
It's just so thought provoking.
It's just really good. It makes you think really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't. Ah, ah.
Think, Connor.
A fifth. Lost.
Okay.
Even though Lost got weird.
Yeah.
Seasons 1 through 3 Lost is like the best, some of the best TV ever.
It is really good.
Before you learn that they never explain the polar bear, the fact that there's a polar bear there makes that show so interesting.
Yeah, did you end up watching the 2000s CNN documentary thing?
Oh, what is that? I don't know anything
CNN
about
put
that.
out a bunch of documentaries of all the different decades, like the 60s, I think, up until the 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did the 2000s. In the 2000s episode, they talk about Lost, and they're like, yeah, at some point we just had the writers just like in a room just coming up with shit. Like they just didn't know. They wanted to end it like after season 3 apparently, and then they just had to keep writing because it was so popular.
It was so popular. See, they ran into what happened to The Walking Dead.
Yes.
Well, The Walking Dead would be on my top 5 list, except for the fact that it's not because it became
going.
terrible.
Yeah.
See, Game of Thrones is doing something right. They went 8 seasons, which is a pretty long TV show.
It's a lot of seasons.
It's a lot of seasons. Most TV shows don't make it that long. But they made it 8 seasons, and nobody wants it to end, but they're ending it.
Yeah.
And it's smart, because by the time they get to season 10, I think they're going to start running into the, okay, we've seen this before problem, you know? Where Walking Dead has a formula of, okay, we've got zombies and we've got humans, and there's so many iterations of zombies versus humans and humans versus humans and humans versus humans, and there's zombies in the middle of it.
There are only so many ethical issues you can tackle.
Yeah.
With like zombies versus humans.
And so...
And I feel like they're all explored within the first 3 seasons.
Yeah, so Walking Dead got boring, and it got weird, and it got weak, even though Negan was a heck of a villain. I will say that. But Game of Thrones is doing it right. Lost also fell victim to that. They were super popular. I think it went for 7 seasons, but there were like 20-something episodes in each season. So there was a lot of content per season.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really cool, like season 1 through 3. What was happening is they had some writers that were really, really good at making hooks, but were really, really bad at giving you a satisfying catch. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They were like, oh, this is a hell of a hook. Let's throw a polar bear in there. Dharma Initiative, all this stuff. And you just want to know what's going on. And so the first 3 seasons, they're just putting chess pieces down, and you're like, what is that?
Yeah,
how
you're
does
trying
that
to
work?
put them together, and it's just not happening
Yeah.
in any coherent manner.
You're
and
like, what are the numbers?
Yeah.
What is happening? And then they start trying to answer some of those questions in season like 4 through 7. And it just gets weird. And the island starts teleporting and time traveling.
Lost is just one of those shows that just kind of it fell victim to the peer pressure around it. Instead of, okay, here's a show idea.
Yeah.
Now here we're going to execute it. It's like, hey, let's just put out this one season and then see where it takes us. And then it turned out to be really good, but then they grew it to a point where they just couldn't sustain it.
It fell victim to its own popularity.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, and so same with Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm. And also another problem with shows like that, shows like Lost, super popular. Walking Dead, super popular. Game of Thrones. You're kind of screwed as the writers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
There's no way for you to write an ending that makes everybody happy, you know?
Agreed.
There's no way.
Endings are always hard, especially for TV shows.
Yeah.
Endings are super hard.
Like Game of Thrones, I don't know how they're going to end this thing. I personally think that the Night King should win. I don't think that's what's going to happen, but I think that he should win. But
Yeah,
Seth is in. He knows.
I agree.
Yeah. But no matter what happens, so many people are going to be pissed because no one's going to be happy about like it didn't end how I wanted it to end. That's the same thing with Lost, but also Lost's ending was dumb. Has Walking Dead ended, or have they just renewed it for another 50 seasons?
I want to say they're still going, which is awful, but yeah.
So you know, whatever happens,
I think if you're an author and you want to make an ending to your story, you go all in one way. And you just, there's no like tying everything in a nice bow. It's like you just pick one avenue and you just
ramrod that sucker.
So that way you have like 30% of internet people who are definitely right, and then just a bunch of pissed off people. That's what I would love to see. As opposed to making like a half-ass ending where you kind of try and make everybody happy and then nobody's happy.
Yeah.
I think what you should do, and what the mistakes of stories past and endings notoriously bad, like How I Met Your Mother. Do you remember that ending?
Yeah, people hated that hard.
So just pick one.
How did it? I never watched it, and I'm never going to. Why did people hate how it ended again?
I think because it was just incredibly basic.
Yeah.
I think it's like not Robin who ended up being the mom, but there was some I don't even remember. There was something crazy about it though, and it was just super basic.
So people hated it.
Yes, because it was so anticlimactic.
I see.
I mean, you put 9 seasons together of a show, and then it ends with like, oh yeah, that's what we thought. You know? I don't know.
Okay, so there was just nothing interesting there.
No.
So how do you think Game of Thrones is going to end, Seth?
The Night Walkers are going to destroy this Jon Snow.
The Jon Snow. The Night Walker. Can you give me some details? I would love to see what your mind comes up with.
Oh, gosh.
Give me a Game of Thrones theory. What's going to happen?
So, the Targaryen dragons
Uh-huh.
are going to...
Really get in here on this mic. Say it with confidence. I want everybody to hear you.
Oh, man. I'm just going to throw together words and hope that it makes a Game of Thrones complete sentence.
I think this is going to be fun, though.
So...
Watch you be right.
Daenerys is going to ride her dragons.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Yes. And burn down the Night Walker's castle.
Oh, okay. What else is going to happen?
The midget
is
going to...
Peter Dinklage.
Peter Dinklage is going to end up as king.
Really?
Yes. Is he still alive?
He is still alive.
He's gonna win.
Who's gonna die?
All the dragons.
All the dragons?
Yes.
You might be right about that.
Cool. I don't know how many there are.
There were 3, but now there's like 2.5.
Is there just half a dragon flying around?
One of them is undead now.
Oh gosh!
Because of the White Walkers.
The Walkers.
See, you kept saying Night Walkers.
The White Walkers.
See, there's the White Walkers who are led by the Night King.
Okay.
He's the king of the night.
The snow zombies.
The snow zombies. Correct.
Yeah. So they're in a battle.
Winter is coming.
Else. Right. Winter.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think I think that Peter Dinklage is going to take over not only the kingdom but also the White Walkers.
Okay, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
What do you think's going to happen, Connor? I mean, as someone who's actually watched the show.
What do I think is going to happen?
Yeah.
This is what should happen based on Game of Thrones thematically. Game of Thrones is all about is choices and consequences, and humanity as a whole in Game of Thrones has really made a bunch of batshit crazy choices, and they should suffer the consequences, which would be the Night King taking over the whole world and beating them all. That's what should happen. What I think might happen is I think Jon Snow's probably going to sit on the throne, but Daenerys might die. Pretty much everybody's going to die. It's going to be a super bittersweet ending. And it's going to end mildly satisfying, but also in the back of your mind, everyone's probably going to be like, the White Walkers probably should have won. Just because they're such an unbeatable force. You know?
Yeah.
You don't know.
No.
No.
But I'm assuming, I've been hearing this winter is coming stuff.
Winter is coming.
So, but would that... I don't know. Is there a group of people out there who are like, yeah, I hope the snow zombies win?
Me.
Are there any more of you?
And Stuart Grady wants him to win.
Random shout out.
Yeah, random shout out, Stuart Grady.
He wants the White Walkers to win.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that just going to be like?
Well, it's not that we want them to. It's that they
you
should.
Expect them to win. You just want to clean the land.
He has like 100,000 strong army. And they're undead. So you have to kill them via fire or dragon glass.
That's right.
They don't have to eat. They don't get tired. He has an undead dragon.
Which is cool.
And they can... cool factor, +10.
+11.
And whenever they kill people, he can raise them up as part of his army. And so you start losing people, and it's an exponential function. All right? That's what happens.
Yeah, that's bad. So you have to... you would have to...
Very intuitive of you.
There'd be some strategy there.
Yeah.
That you'd have to employ. Because it looks like you would lose in a straight up... in a straight up clash.
Because they don't have the numbers, and you can't bring people back to life to fight for you again. The Night King has both of those things. He's got the numbers, he's got the people.
Are you sure there's not some kryptonite that you can
Okay, this is the kryptonite. The kryptonite is, if you kill... Also, okay, so they're... The White Walkers...
Yes.
Are this force in the north, right? They're coming down, but they're the snow zombies, right?
Right.
But there are different types, okay? There's the whites, and the whites are just the zombies, right? Those are like, if I killed you and raised you back up, if I was the Night King, you would just be a white, right?
Well, thanks for the stereotype, but okay.
And so you would just be basically a zombie, right? But then there are the White Walkers. And those are this actual race of creature that they're not undead, but they're able to bring things back to life to fight for them, humans and animals as well, actually.
Right.
And,
like the dragon.
And they have language, they have strategy, they actually have thought, right? There aren't very many of them. But their kryptonite is, if you kill one of them, you kill everybody that they raised.
Oh.
So that's the kryptonite.
So you only got to kill the big one.
Well, yeah, the Night King has raised most people, but he also has all of his general White Walkers, right?
Right.
And they're all there. So I imagine the strategy is going to be kill all the White Walkers that you can to try and get rid of as many whites as you can.
Right. That'd be crazy if you would see that on a battlefield. Like, one guy would get speared and like half of that side of the army would just disintegrate into nothing.
Yeah. That would be crazy.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sick.
I think that's probably going to happen tonight, and I'm really excited about it.
Wait, so is this the last episode?
No, this is episode 3 of 6, so this is the halfway point.
And are they in the battle right now?
I think it just ended.
Okay, so...
I think the battle just ended. So I think Twitter's probably blowing the freak up right now.
Game of Thrones Twitter?
Game of Thrones Twitter is blowing up right now. And so I have to unplug myself from all forms of communication from the outside world.
Right.
And just
get in there.
Just go and enjoy it. I'm doing it right after this episode.
Okay. Well, we might let you get on with that little adventure.
Yeah, because
we're almost out of time.
We're right here at an hour. I hope you enjoyed our TV show talk this time around.
Yeah, that's basically what it was.
That's
TV
basically
show
what it was.
And some expensive, nice Dusse.
Dusse. It was really good, though. You should pick yourself up a bottle
if you had to rate it. What would you put it?
I'd give it a 9.
I'm right there with you. I'd give it a 9. I might go up to a 9.5.
Well, see, this is why I'm hesitant. because there's a whole world of, $100,000 liquor, which is obviously overpriced and probably not worth it.
Right.
But there's something about it that I feel like you would taste, and
it would immediately just hit you.
You just melt into the abyss, whatever that means. So,
it would seem unfair to give it to something that's not $1 million bottle. But
I mean, it's not even price point based. It's just, I feel like we're just scratching the surface.
Well, we've tried a lot of bottles. I mean, this will be our eighth. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot. 8 whiskeys.
I mean, not really though.
No, it's not at all.
So yeah, I feel like we still have a long way to go, but it was really good. I would recommend it.
Cool.
I enjoyed this more lighthearted, fun podcast. I hope you guys at home did as well. If you got a question, you know what you should do?
Where to send it.
You know where to send it. You should open up your computer.
Right. And click on the internet. And then once you're on the internet,
I'm sure you've done that many times.
You will go to your URL search bar and you will type
Gmail,
email,
or whatever your email service is.
You would type in, what is my email address? And then you'll figure that out. Then you will get on your internet email provider. And you will click compose.
Internet email provider.
You will click compose or craft or write.
What is my...
And then once you've opened that up, you will type in the recipient bar. What will you type?
You're going to type a little bit of nonsense, then a capital N, nothingness, at gmail.com.
And then you will scroll down to the subject, and you will not put, a little bitch.
Well, see, the fact that you just said you will not put means that any emails we get will probably have that as the subject line.
Okay, well, after you put that as your subject line, leave us a question. Something interesting, whatever you want to hear.
A whiskey suggestion.
Yeah, we'll take those.
Anything under the sun.
Yeah, question for Connor.
Question for Seth. We're
just
just men of the people.
People of the men.
We're just here to serve you,
That second one sounded. Anyways, yeah.
We're just here to give you favors.
Give us something.
So yeah, talk to us. We'd love to talk to you. Thanks for tuning in for another fun hour, and we'll see you next time. Remember to just go out there and be nothing.
Be a little nothing.